the reason why people sometimes don't get better is because they don't want to admit to them that something is wrong. So they go through trauma and they just go on with life. They don't like go and get therapy, or they don't get put on medication, or they don't do like spiritual and psychological, like real healing. And then something might happen to them 10 years down the track when like they have a child, and all of that trauma comes back up because they haven't touched it. Like they haven't touched it at all. So I think the difference is like I, as much as I could, try to destigmatize myself from being like, it's okay that I have depression at this point. It's okay that I'm going through suicide, like I'm going through ideation at this point. I was really comfortable saying that to people and not feeling like it was an evidence of my like incompetency.
Of course.
Even though there was certain dialogue within even my own household, like, are you sure you're okay to do like Mick if, you know, if this is happening to you? And it comes from a well-intentioned place, like just make sure you're psychologically okay.
Yeah.
But a portion of it is also that I think the unspoken story is that we think two things about mentally ill people, which is their attention seeking. I think people do still think that. And second, that like, you know, like are they that capable of like being functional human beings if they really, like imagine if you told your employer, yeah, I have depression. They'd be like, I'm not going to, God forbid you to be open to an employer about that. Because it's seen as like a negative reflection on you.
It's really sad. Which
is so sad. And then people die. And they're like, oh, why do people die? It's because they didn't feel safe enough to actually speak about it, or for you to judge them, or they just want too judged to say it.
It's communication.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, yeah.
I think people, the difference in our cultural communities is that there's still so much stigma to even say the word therapy or depression or suicide.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, people stay in certain situations. And some people like, you know, grow through it. Because they accept it, they acknowledge it, they heal from it, and then they properly move on. Yeah. And that might even look like 4 months as opposed to like 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What's been something that's been on your mind recently that you can't stop thinking about?
Self-censorship.
Self-censorship?
Yeah, I think that like there's so much of my life that doesn't belong to me.
Yeah. Because
someone else has decided that they own it, like a part of my story. And I have this, anytime I have like an itch to talk about something and I'm not allowed to, it feels all the more important to do it. Like there's a necessity then. You know what I mean? There's like a necessity, like some things that I've gone through are like systematic problems in community. And those exact things are things I'm not allowed to talk about.
People shy away from that. That's why it's taboo.
That's why it's taboo. You don't go there. Why do you want to go there? So I just have this thing of, I feel like I'm doing community a disservice by not talking about it. But at the same time, I don't know. There's like, I have this thing of have enough self-awareness, but don't have it so much that it's self-disruption. Like it's preventing you from going and actioning positive things in community. And that's what I've been thinking about a lot is how can I do the things I want to do?
The fine balance.
Yeah, without upsetting the boundaries that have been put on me.
Yeah. Were you always like this as a kid? Were you always curious? Or where does it come from?
Yeah, I think I've only ever known how to be in community. Like I have 3 brothers, the only girl, and I've always had this like maternal relationship to my brothers, like being the oldest daughter. And so taking care of people is so innate
within you,
within me. Like I was only performing poetry for, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years from when I was like 15 until like 21-ish.
Yeah.
And then I just started organizing. Like I went into the organizing side of it like really quickly. And then I just stayed in that space.
Yeah.
And I just stopped performing for a while. I'm like, I did my stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's time. It just felt so natural.
Yeah.
To stay and like empower other people. And I think it's because I had really good role models like Sarah, who's like one of my best friends.
She's amazing.
People who like hold the door open.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this makes sense. You do you model back what's been modeled to you.
And you carry on.
Yeah.
And what's your mission right now? You seem really clear on your mission.
Yeah. I think it's about educating women on finding their agency and their life and decentering the things expected of you, whether that's like marriage or even education, to be honest. Like even I think an over an overbit of anything is not good for you. So center yourself on like your values, the things that energize your brain, develop your identity before you go and like go into the world.
Of course.
Because the second you have a void, like we're in a very predatory world, right?
Yeah.
Even with social media. The second you have an insecurity, TikTok will put up exactly what you're insecure about.
Yes.
And people are the same way.
It's engaging, yeah.
Yeah, so people are the same way. So
They are.
If you don't go and validate yourself or figure out all of your little bits of trauma or little bits of things, then someone will go and take advantage of you in some way. So maybe it's about, I don't know, letting people have the agency to figure themselves out. And that's through like, I guess, Mind to Become and Muslim Agenda even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you find the most successful way to do that when it comes to what you've seen with Muslim Agenda? Because you're tackling trauma within people.
Yeah.
And you're trying to transform it.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you do that?
I think you can only do if you do.
Yeah.
Like, I have to do the work.
Take the poison yourself almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have to do the hard yards of figuring myself out, getting help, like having real conversations about, you know, my own stuff so that I can empower other people. Yeah. And living authentically. I think we have so much performance in society. Yeah. Like perform a marriage, perform like a traditional like corporate life, or perform this like for guys and for girls. I've got brothers, so I know how it looks, and so the second you start to be a bit disruptive and are like, no, bad stuff happens. Yeah. Like to normal people, or bad stuff happens to educated people, and like disrupt the performance. And I think doing that more and more will help, I guess, normalize some of the really hard things that we have to face in silence.
Where does this all come from, Aishah?
That's such a hard question. I think it's like a divine calling.
Is it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
your fitrah, huh?
I think it's my fitrah. Yeah. I have only ever known how to be in community. Yeah. Like I was a madrasa teacher for a long time, and then I went back to being a madrasa teacher recently. MashaAllah. And I like love working with children and like young kids. I still think I'm like a young adult. I don't even know if I classify as young adult anymore.
You are.
And I felt like God gave me specific skills. Yeah. And I would not just be doing myself a disservice by not utilizing it. Yeah. But the community. And my dad, I think, has been a really central focus in kind of like inculcating that. Like give back. Like my dad gives back so much that he doesn't have anything left for himself sometimes. Like, and so he modeled that. And so naturally, I think I've modeled that, even to his concern sometimes. He's like, you know, you can keep parts of your life to yourself. Like, you know, don't like tag out all of your traumas just because you feel like it's going to help someone. That's a whole other, that's a psychological discussion.
Of course.
But I think, it's what I've seen. Yeah. And I've just replicated basically what I've seen.
So help me understand this.
Yeah.
You're there for people right now. You're there for the community. And I totally get what you mean. Because in Iraqi culture, we're the same. We give, and we don't look after ourselves. Yeah. Right now, you're in that position, though, if you're in that community. But I think you figured a way of how that also, I guess, I don't know, heals you back. Based on what you've said, that you've walked the road yourself and you're helping others find that path. But does it feel like you're giving too much, or does it feel like you're also finding yourself within other people? Because that's why I do this, by the way. Because I find myself in others and I relate to it. And I see my mother and I see my sisters-in-law and everyone else. Yeah. Do you get me? Yeah, yeah. So did you find that healthy balance now? I think like healing is one of the best forms of helping. For yourself and for others. For yourself and for others. Right. Like it goes back to this like concept like in Islam of like khidmah, like service. Yeah. I think that like everyone is like given like a singular path. Like I think all of this got really triggered in my brain post my suicide, because at that point I think I was so self-centered in a sense. I'm like, my life has no value. Like I contribute nothing. I like those were all active dialogues in my brain. And when I was like given the, I guess, I don't know, the blessing or whatever it is to actually be alive, when I against all odds, to be honest, I'm like, I have to make this mean something. I think that was like the impetus, like the
clicking the idea bomb moment. Like, I have to make this mean something. Like, obviously I was kept here for a reason. Like, there's something left for me to do.
Yeah.
And then it made sense for it to be in the mental health space. It was my lived experience. And my friend and I were just talking about this, but like, we are still fresh in this phase of our life. I've only been 4 months post-divorce, and essentially 4 months also since like my hospitalization.
So
but it
recent.
feels like years.
Really? Those 4 months?
Yes, it feels like years. And one of my friends was saying
August or July?
August.
My goodness.
Yeah. And I think hospitalization was in June. But we were just saying that how we don't have to be fully healed to help.
No.
That can be like a portion of it. And time really slows down for you when you go through trauma, because it forces you to sit back. It forces you to step away from work, and it forces you to reflect and grow if you rise up to it. Because people can go the full other way. And I know so many people have gone the full other way where something horrible has happened and their whole life is just smithereens. And I'm like, I've worked way too hard to let that happen to me. I have to, as much as it, like, my depression was so horrible. I couldn't even get myself out of bed. Like, it was, and I have like people really trying to help me. And for the first time I felt that disempowered, like no agency. Like, I can't control my brain or my thoughts. And I had to do the hard part by myself, because I didn't have the system that I needed at that point. And people also don't know how to support people. Like, nothing like that had happened in my family.
No, especially in our culture.
Not in our culture, not in the Muslim community, not specifically even in the South Asian community.
Yeah.
And so people are also like, either they're scratching their heads because they don't know what to do, or it's too tender and they don't want to make something even worse, or they don't have the right tools. So I'm like, this feels like so important to talk about, so at least people can be like, okay, so that's what I do. That's the kind of support I give. Okay, don't center myself in someone's trauma. Like, listen, validate, make them feel like basically helping someone build back the blocks of their life all over again.
What did you wish you had back in August? What do you think would have really, really helped you?
It's a hard question, because I needed there was a specific deficiency in my life, like in a person. Yeah. And like, I have to apply another level of like self-censorship in talking about that, because I'm not allowed to talk about that. I don't know, trusted my like my worth and like my value, because I had attached it so closely to my marriage and my relationship. And I think that's like a problem that Muslim women have. Like, there's this whole thing of you grow up and your whole life is attached to your marriageability. It's not just for women, it's actually like that for guys as well. Probably in a more financial sense than an emotional sense.
That's true.
And it's like, anything that you do is like, I have to act a certain way because it makes me more demure and makes me like come across this way, or I can't choose this form of education because this form of education makes me look too opinionated. And like, every facet of your life is controlled by some other, aspect of how you're marketed towards dudes, instead of it just being close to what you actually want to do. Yeah. And so the way that, like, when you don't have that, when you know that your life is crumbling to pieces, I had like lost my job because of my situation. I literally was let go of my job because of my situation. Yeah. And that destroyed me, because I had worked so hard for this. It was a dream job as well. Yeah. I had worked so hard for it, and I'm like, and it's something I can't even control has made me lose it, and it ruined me. And then everything else in my life was just crumbling to pieces. Everything that I worked so hard. Yeah. And you say like, why me? Yeah. You're like, I did everything right. Yeah. Like, blah blah blah. And it shows you that mental health doesn't discriminate. Like, there's a certain stigma that, like, if you're intelligent, if you're educated, if you have the right, even if you have the right support system, it can still anyone, and you don't even know people are suffering. Like, male suicide rates are so high right now, and I worry a lot about that because I've got 3 brothers. I constantly like, are they okay? Are they okay? To the point where I'm like, are they checking if I'm okay? But yeah, there's too many people suffering in silence. And I think that really bothered me because I was suffering in silence.
You speak as if it was years ago.
It feels seriously. Like years ago.
How did you bounce back and not went lower and lower. Because that's really, really tough.
Look, it sounds like it was like this, but it was more like this and then like that. Like I post-hospitalization, in post-divorce, there was a few times I was close to relapsing. I had to get a lot of like, even while I was going through some of the hardest parts of my life, I immediately got psychological help. I was like, I can't do this. And I was so scared of it like affecting every other part of my life that I'm like, no, if I don't get help, then I'll lose my job or like this will happen. And so I did that. And even though I had like ongoing psych support, I still did what I did because a lot of things had happened at that point. Like they were just too much for a person to like stomach. And I think pouring myself into like activities.
Yeah.
So I started doing Pilates straight after.
Fun.
And then I get a bit obsessive. So I started doing it like every single day. And then I started going to the gym every single day. And I think it was to prove something to myself and give myself a reason to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, if I can start exploring like parts of myself. So it went from doing that to having the courage, and it is really it is courageous to go and explore a whole different area of Sydney. So I'd go and I'd like find a park, and I would go get like myself whatever I wanted to eat, and like sit by myself and eat. It doesn't sound revolutionary.
No, it's perfect.
But for a lot of especially Muslim women, that is revolutionary because we're so people are judging me, or like what if someone hate crimes me, or I just don't want to look like a loner or whatever it is. But I think the core of it, not just for women, it's can I sit alone with my internal dialogue? Or is my conversation with myself so negative that I can't be alone? And so refiguring that out is what helped me get better. Being alone with myself and it not being a negative voice. So I think that was like the key, that was like really the key thing that switched my brain to get me like much, much better from where I was.
Do you have inner peace now when you sit with yourself?
No, I don't think.
You're still a work in progress.
I think it'll always be
compared to before.
Oh, 1,000%.
Okay.
Yeah, before that I was like, before that it was horrible. Before that it would even go, I'd be like, would it even matter if I like? People would care for a little bit if I wasn't around, and then they wouldn't. Like, I would be really battling with myself to stay alive. Like that was an active decision, like on a day-to-day basis, to actually be alive. Like the inclination was so strong. But I also like seeing the reaction of my family post like my suicide. Like my dad and my brothers were the ones who found me or whatever.
How did that make you feel?
It was traumatizing. Like it was so traumatizing. And I think for even just their sake, I wouldn't do that to them.
Yeah.
You know?
But you got to live for yourself. And I think you're doing that.
Yes.
Where does this all come from? Like deep down, this, I think a lot of people may relate to it. The sense of, you don't deserve to live. Where does it come from?
I don't know.
No?
I think, I don't know. I feel like so much of my life, as when I was really young, was like tethered to my like value, right? Like I was a really academic person. I still think I'm really academic.
You are,
I'm a master's student, inshallah. But I was like, I need to be achieving like these marks so that I get validation from my parents.
Right.
And I need to be doing these things for my brothers for them to like love me and like give me attention. Yeah. And I need to be like getting these gifts for my friends. Yeah. There was always a sense of you are not enough if you don't contribute enough.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was like to be loved just for being myself.
Yeah.
And I think I took that into so many parts of my life. Yeah. And I even took that into my marriage. So then when it did feel like I was enough, like I was 360 and things still happened to me, it shattered my perception of like the way that I saw the world, which is like, no, if you're enough, then you get good things. Like good things happen to you if you like, you know, do the right things. I think I'm finally learning slowly, and I don't think I'm anywhere near close, that even if I did nothing, I would still be a person that's like worthy and enough.
Always.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm still far away from that. I can sense it, but I don't think I'm close enough to it because I think I still tie a good section of my worth to it. Yeah. And it's going to take, I don't know, it might take years to like untether that. I think it's also an ethnic thing.
I think it's culture.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing.
Because if you think about it, and we both know Islam well from just by reading the Quran, I think self-worth forgiveness, like those concepts are so much different in our culture compared to how it is truly in faith. Yeah. Not just in our religion, but even different religions.
Yeah.
For me, I used to always think that those two are tethered. You always like tether culture with religion, and then if you really separate it, like culture, and I get it, like the amount of trauma that our culture has been through, migration, like a lot of that probably gets transferred to us.
Yeah.
And you don't, like I don't blame our families, because they're also on their own path, but it's culture. Yeah. It really is.
It's almost like a colonial thing, like prove yourself on like white man's land.
Yeah.
Or you're unworthy.
100%, yeah.
And it might not be said, but it's like subconscious in the way that we're raised.
It's subconscious within us.
And within us too.
Yeah, call me out if I do it.
Yeah.
I do it sometimes, and I'll call you out. But I think, as you said, without those and without whatever we have, what does it say in our religion? We're still worthy. Yeah. We're still loved, and we can always be forgiven, no matter how bad the sins are. Yeah. So if God can expect that from us, like who are we?
Yeah. To do it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true.
But how do you change a culture? I don't think you can.
No, I don't think you can.
But you can change yourself and then the expectation of others.
Yeah, and also you end up replicating culture when you have family, and you can always
passing on.
Yeah, and how you teach them about and things that you transfer like onto them. I think that's been one of my learning experiences. Is that I hope, inshallah, but like that all this stuff just makes me, when I do or if I do become a mother, a much better, whole-rounded person. Yeah. And I like unlearn negative things or like certain kinds of dialogues that's been subconscious in my culture and even within the community, and I teach them the right things. And also I feel more whole as a person. Yeah. So then I don't project my own stuff on a child.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And you can only get there once you've been through things, and also not just been through but learned through things.
That's what I was going to say. Yes.
Yeah.
So genuine question, right? Our families and everyone around us, they all mean to do better.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to do better.
Yeah.
Is it an awareness thing? Because you've been through what your culture has been through. Yeah. But I think you're able to make a different decision, maybe because you know there's another way and you educated yourself and it just clicks. Is that what people usually miss? Certainly for me, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Where,
like what's the
what is it? Yeah. Distinction.
Yeah. I think it's, yes, I think that the reason why my life was a little bit different, it's like I've had aunties go through 10 times worse situations than me and also not make it the other end. And it's taken like 20 years of their life to finally get agency. Wow. Like finally have like financial independence and finally have like a semblance of normalcy. Yep. I think being educated really helps. So I always had like, had studied before. So I didn't really feel like I was tethered to someone to stay in a relationship because of that. Yeah. I also think a portion of it is like unlearning and like destigmatizing yourself too.
I think what you've just said reminds me of a quote. It's is that people communicate in either two ways. It's either out of love or a cry for help in some way. Like they just want to be communicated or heard. And I think, do you agree with that? Do you feel like that's the case?
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of people don't feel listened. I mean, you certainly weren't. Not at work, not with the people closest to you.
Yeah.
And is it out of ill intent? Is it out of misunderstanding? Is it a mix of things? Why?
I think people can only also meet you where they're at.
Right.
So even if you try and tell them, you might tell someone, I want to die. Yeah. Like you might say that to them point blank. But if they are not ready to face on the fact that you have just said something so hard and it's just too much for them to stomach, they will walk away. And I've seen that happen to me point blank.
It's too much.
That feels like a lot. So you can be saying and openly communicating something, but because they can't mentally meet you to comfort you or to whatever, they will just walk away. Yeah. And then situations like mine happen. So it's like there's a lot of like self-reflection that needs to be done. And I think divorce and all these like traumas that we go through life, like miscarriages, like familial loss, like lots of grief and heavy things that happen in our community. And we cycle through it in our lives without really sitting in it and unpacking it and like not letting it be our whole identity. Yeah. But like actually healing from it so that we don't go and project things. And that's what happens. Like the women who, like, I don't know if you know of like the battered women syndrome, which is, I did family law for a little bit, but basically women who end up in DV situations over and over again, And I'm not putting any victim blaming on this, but a portion of it is like Stockholmy. Like there has been no, like, you are in this psychological state where you're in your amygdala, you're like, you know, fight or flight. And so you can't even think from your prefrontal cortex. And so you're always just searching for these certain kinds of relationships.
Yeah.
And then certain kinds of people prey on those kinds of people, and that's the same cycle that ends up. So there is so much internal introspective work that is just lacking. And I think a lot of it is like because of stigma.
How prevalent is this in our community from what you've seen? Because when you told me your story, I was shocked.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
Because I've known you for a long time and not many people speak about it, certainly. It's just so taboo.
Yeah.
How prevalent is it?
Oh, it's horrible.
Really?
It's horrible. Which is, you can see the Mind If I Come only started a month ago. And every time I post an event, within an hour, it's sold out.
Wow.
It's not like a clap on the back for me at all.
It is, yeah.
But I think it's a few things. I think it's because of how desperate women are for connection, like really vulnerable women. It's not affordable. So spaces that exist for mental well-being are not affordable.
Yeah.
And they're not really to take care of us, like in a holistic way. Like people with lived experience don't create initiatives. People who want to do businesses create initiatives.
Yeah.
And so there's such a disjoint in the things that are offered and the things that like people actually need.
Yeah.
And that's why like it's done so well, but it just shows you how prevalent it is because of how many people are resonating with it.
Yeah.
And it has so many people that I know. They're like, I'm collecting divorcees like cattle. It's so funny. I say that with like lots of
love
and it really with a lot of love and endearingness.
Of course. It is prevalent.
But it's like I feel kind of in a really strange way thankful
for what you've been through.
For what I've been through.
That's beautiful.
Which is so crazy because I'm like, I'm glad it happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like God knew that I would try and do something about it, and that I had like a semi public facing life.
Yeah.
And I'm glad people can see that it can happen to someone like me as well.
Yeah.
And you can look like your life is so normal.
Yes.
And you can be like bedridden and like wanting to die. Like, you know, like we need to sometimes, like there's like privacy and there's boundaries, but sometimes it's okay to like lift the mask up and be like, okay, real life is really, really, really hard. And we're not meant to suffer it alone.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think people come to you because maybe they see themselves in you.
Yeah.
And as you said, if it happens to her, there's less self-judging.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much self-blame when it comes to this because of culture, especially. And I was at this talk a couple of weeks ago with this Sheikha, but she's also a psychologist.
Nice.
Her name was like Sheikha Rania, and she was talking about how like it was so wonderful listening to a woman speak about this who like has a background in psych but also understands religion.
Yeah.
And how people actually look at people in my position and like, that's just a spiritual deficiency. Like they just shut it all there.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about the psychological impact of loss or the psychological impact of betrayal or the psychological impact of like lots of massive calamities. And then the whole religious community that's behind them is like, they just need to pray more, or they just did this incorrectly, blah 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 blah. And then that blame comes back to you. Like, if I was a better person, if I was a better Muslim, then XYZ wouldn't have happened to me. I think I trust so much in God's plan, and I'm like, doesn't matter. Like everything happens. It sounds so cliche, but everything happens for a reason. It's written.
100%.
Like it's literally written for you, and you don't know where the webs of your life are meant to like lead you.
Of course.
And it's okay for it to look. I think I was so obsessed with perfection. I was like, by this age I'll finish. Like by 20 I'll finish uni, and by 24 I'll have my PhD, and by like 26 I'll have like 2 kids, and blah blah blah. We need to. I think I got like a slap. Like it's okay. Like out of all people, my life got so disrupted in that way.
Yeah.
But I think it needed to happen so that I was like so comfortable with the fact that things are not going to follow the plan, but it's not your plan that's like the important one. It's like there's a divine purpose for why disruption happens.
Yeah.
And every disruption is like redirection.
Yeah.
It's redirecting you somewhere probably closer to where your soul needs to be. Yeah.
Inshallah, and I'm sure you'll find those people, and that community is already around you.
Yeah.
I think one of my final important questions is your advice in terms of prevention, because I think you're working in the space of, I think you are working in the space of prevention, if anything, with Muslim agenda and everything else you do, but also the aftercare when things happen. What can parents do? What can men do? And even women to prevent?
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if you had the right support and the right maturity from certain people, you would get the help you need.
Yeah.
And I certainly got that help, luckily. But yeah, what do you think?
It's interesting because it requires people to have a level of like self-awareness.
Humility as well.
And humility, like understanding that what you can say can trigger someone.
Yeah.
And like always having an open heart to when someone reaches out to you, because that in itself is the bravest of acts. Just someone being vulnerable towards you with their story, or like even if they're feeling a certain way, it takes courage to do that. And so listening to that, validating that, like psychological help is equally as important as like community help. So making sure the spaces that exist around us all tell us and reinforce to us that it's okay to seek support. It's okay to like, you know, to not be okay, but like to have mental health issues and to have periods of your life that will be hard and not to sweep it under the rug. Like even till now, and it's not been that far away, I have certain people like, don't talk about that. Don't talk about that. It's all done now. So why would we talk about it? You're just hurting yourself by talking about it. Like you're reaching yourself. I was like, okay, I have to really emotionally regulate myself so I don't get into an argument and be like, you know what? They just don't understand. They haven't reached.
There yet,
they're not there. They're not at the self-awareness yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, making sure that you don't re-traumatize them.
Yes.
You don't like you know, stigmatize them as well.
Yeah.
Especially around things like medical help and psychological help.
Yeah.
Like I still hear certain like dialogues in my like cultural community, like she's seeing a psych, or like she's crazy, or like, you know, that stuff is so harmful, and it can completely negate someone from like seeking help when they really need to.
Of course.
Always going above and beyond to lend an ear. Like do for others what you would want for yourself.
Yeah.
Like if they would bend over backwards when you're in distress, you should do the same thing.
Yeah.
The mental health stigma thing will take a long time, but even just casually mentioning and normalizing these discussions, even with calling out certain behavior, like that can be confronting for a lot of people. But that's actually the bare minimum that you can do, is when you hear certain things, especially to do with like derogatory things towards women.
It's our responsibility.
Like even mental health things, is to be like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And I've become a lot more brazen with that, mainly because I have like I was on so many antidepressants at some point that I have no anxiety receptors.
Oh my God, really?
So like
You don't feel anxious?
I feel anxious with certain things,
okay,
but generally in my life, I don't feel anxious, which is crazy because I was a hyper anxious person.
Yeah. You do so many speeches though. Surely that muscle has grown.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe also I've just grown older. Yeah, just being brazen and unapologetic about your values. If it doesn't align with your values, call it out and say it. Like that's when it counts. When actually you see the opposite of what you stand for and you say something.
Yeah. And I think you're inspiring so many people to do that.
I hope.
What is next for Aishah Ali?
What is next for me?
Yeah.
Well, I do start my master's next year, turning this into a somewhat like really scalable digital platform so that it can help as many more people than just the workshops and stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Because I realized after all my solo park dates, I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I had a friend with me because they're all working.
Yeah.
And so something that feels really accessible. So I hope to like make Mick into like a really scalable platform.
Yeah.
So I know lots of women who are going through like postpartum, like after having kids, or even like these mental sabbaticals, and they just want to catch up and be with someone. So I'm thinking of like making it into an app. It's kind of like an air tasker for women.
Oh, nice.
To just catch up with each other when you're like having a moment, so that you're not doing it alone.
That's really nice. I'm
planning to do like a comedy club next year, because I think humor's like the best way to heal as well.
It is, yeah. And you're funny.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. You have a sarcastic
I have a very,
humor.
yeah. I was hosting a few slams and someone's like, is that like their character? And I'm like, that's my personality.
It's good. Suits your,
it does. Maybe it does suit it. There's that, and like a few other like fun things that mix like healing, but through creativity. Because I feel like that's what I know.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to sit in a circle like AA and like talk about all of our stuff.
We spoke about that, yeah.
We can go on a hike together, or like do a boxing workshop together. Like we can go do something like active, like make your mind move kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my kind of like, that's what I hope for the future.
Beautiful. You're pioneering, and I think let's continue telling these stories.
Yeah.
And you truly inspire so many. And you inspire me to be a better leader, a better man, and also to look out for those around me, because
that makes me really happy.
No, seriously, Aishah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anything else you want to say?
No, that's pretty much everything.
Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
We can walk off screen.
Yeah.
It'll be
Oh my
good.
God, it's so dramatic.
Thank you. No, it's good. Did you hear us?
My legs are numb completely.